It's the Jack and Nick Horror Show.
Hey, Jack.
Hi, Nick.
Did you ever record a podcast that no one will ever hear?
I've done that once before with you, and it was for a review for Teeth.
Teeth. And we've definitely done segments that got lost forever, right?
We have done segments that got lost forever, including a review for Teeth.
Right.
Not us. No, on this show.
No, that was a couple of years ago, though. But tonight, we just had a power outage and lost everything we recorded for about 35 minutes.
Just about.
So,
yeah. So we're gonna start over.
People are never going to hear that podcast.
That's okay.
It's okay, because as soon as something gets erased wrongly, it means whatever you do next is instantly better. Like, you automatically do better just because you're like, fuck it, here we go.
Yeah, it's like practice. And we sounded like better old men on the last one anyway.
Right, I kind of didn't like it.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. I was fine with it. But now, I feel like everything's going to be better.
It is. It's going to be.
a brand new day.
You know why?
It's a brand new day.
You know why?
Why?
Because we're only... we're just... This is a... if you're new to the show, this is what we call the catch-up episode, where Nick and I catch up with movies that we have seen, both or video games or books, whatever, that we have experienced since the last time we recorded. The last time we recorded, I think, was like 2018. Is that what it was?
2017.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we're going to do that. However, we are going to do another episode, not tonight, but soon. So that episode will come out maybe about a week or so after this one. That episode is going to be our Summer Spectac. What the Summer Spectac is, well, I'm not going to tell you too much about it, except we're going to ask you, the listener, what is your favorite aquatic horror movie? I have to accentuate the word horror movie. Not movie, horror movie. And next week we're going to talk about a movie of the week, which will be an aquatic horror movie, but we want to know yours. And if you don't know what aquatic means, it means water, sea, ocean.
Sea creatures.
Sea creatures. It doesn't necessarily have to pertain to summer, but it is going to be our Summer Spectac. So choose wisely, or whatever you feel like. We're cool with it. We're not going to judge you and make fun of you. Except Nick, he will.
I sometimes do that.
He does that a lot. He said, yeah. So tonight, catch up. That's what we're doing. Is that okay with you, Nick?
No, it's what I came for. So we're going to talk about movies, video games, movies, whatever horror thing we've digested lately. I think I've only seen movies. I don't think I've played any horror video games, so...
Yeah.
I don't know how to read.
That I'm aware of. Okay. I'm kidding. All right. You ready? Catch up?
When you are.
I'm ready. Okay, let's play catch up. And break.
So a movie I saw recently on Shudder, and enjoyed enough, not a whole lot, but enough, was The Ranger.
The Ranger.
Have you seen The Ranger?
No, I haven't discussed it on this show or anything. Neither have you.
Right, we may have discussed this last week, in which case, if we did, wow, oops.
Last week?
Last century, when we last did a show. But the point is, I saw it, and it was all right. It wasn't, I don't think it was super great, but it was kind of good. It was kind of an 80s slasher where a bunch of punk rock kids go into the woods and stay at a cabin in the woods, and the ranger is the guy who is a slasher killing them. That's not a spoiler because it's literally the title. So there you go. All right, and it's another movie that we've complained about on the show previously. It kind of leans on the 80s references, but does not feel specifically like it takes place in the 80s for any reason other than the main characters are a bunch of like punk rock kids, kind of like Return of the Living Dead or something like that. But I didn't feel like there was any real reason it had to take place in the 80s, especially because punk rock is still a thing. But that's pretty much it.
You know the difference between like the Ranger characters and let's say Return of the Living Dead characters is
What?
You start out where both groups of punks are assholes, right? They're assholes. Right? I mean, the people in the Ranger are even bigger assholes.
They are,
but they're assholes. They're all assholes. The difference is that once shit hits the fan in Return of the Living Dead, a lot of the characters you start to like. The one asshole they kill off right away, and the punk characters you get to see the real people, in a sense. Like a different version of them they're not putting on the front. This one here, you don't get to see that. They're still assholes.
Yeah.
Mostly just assholes. And you're like, oh, another one's dead. I don't care. Another one's dead. I don't care.
Definitely.
You know? But, I mean, that happens. And I'm not picking on the Ranger. I actually enjoyed it. I purchased the Blu-ray. But it happens with a lot of modern horror movies where they're like, all right, these people want to see kids that are assholes get killed by the killer. It's like, no, that happens in like part 3 or further. That's when that becomes that trope. Not in the first one. The first one, you care about the characters. It happens. A prime example, I saw Halloween 4 in the theater, okay? And it was a sold-out crowd. People were jumping out of their seats because Michael Myers was an asshole killing people. And they were like, wow, this is fucking great, right? They weren't cheering Michael Myers when he killed people. I saw Halloween 5 in the theater. Sold out crowd. People were cheering every time he killed somebody. One movie difference, less than a year later, that happens. And I'm like, the fuck happened?
Right.
So, that's Halloween 4 and 5, not Halloween.
Yeah, you definitely need a reason to get behind the killer.
Yeah.
More strongly put than the movie The Ranger gives you. It doesn't give you a whole lot, is what I'm saying.
Speaking of getting behind things, I watched, and speaking of 80s, Night Killer. It's a movie that was just released by Severin on Blu-ray. Night Killer is directed by your favorite director, Nick. Claudio.
Rob Zombie?
No, Claudio Fraguzzi. They're Fraguzio.
Yeah.
The director of Troll 2.
And Zombie 3 and 4.
Zombie 3
right?
and 4, yes. And Monster Dog, and yeah. Okay.
He's not a good director, people.
No, he is. No, don't listen to Nick. He's a good. If you like schlock, he's the best.
Oh yeah, schlock is definite with him.
He is cinema fromage. Yeah. Okay, you know how I love Zombie 3 and Zombie 4. I even love Zombie 5.
Right.
And Zombie 2. I like Zombie. I like the whole fucking Zombie series. I like all of them. Okay. All right. And I'm not saying that ironically. We're not hipsters here. Okay. So, Night Killer is a movie that... I'll just read the IMDb synopsis for you. A serial killer with a rubber-like Freddy Krueger mask terrifies the city of Virginia Beach. Now,
Freddy Krueger. It literally says Freddy Krueger-like mask.
Yeah, on the IMDb. Basically,
wow.
Okay, so, all right. The star of this movie is Tara Buckman, and Tara Buckman was in Cannonball Run. She was, what's her name's co-driver? The Lamborghini. What's her name?
I can't
John
remember
Carpenter's
who drives
wife.
what car.
John Carpenter's wife. She was in The Fog. Ah, I blanking on her name? Oh my god, I am getting so old. I remember Buckman, but I don't remember the actual freaking. Help me, son of a bitch! Help me.
I don't know. Dom DeLuise?
No. No. Swamp Thing.
Jackie Chan.
Adrian Barbeau. Adrian Barbeau. She
Look,
said
I named
Adrian
the 4 people I could remember from Cannonball Run.
Oh my god. Okay, so Adrian Barbeau's co-driver in Cannonball Run. She's also in, do you remember Silent Night, Deadly Night? The first one, not the second one that you saw with the first one, but you'll see her in the second one too, since it's spliced into it. She is the mother that gets raped and, attempted rape and murdered by Santa Claus in the beginning. She's the mother of the kids. Okay, so she's the star of this movie, and I'll call him Rent-A-Cop version of Andrew Stevens. So there's Andrew Stevens, not Andrew Stevens, and he's married to this woman, and there's a daughter that they have that's her daughter, but he's her ex-husband. But then there's this other guy that comes. Okay, so there's no fucking plot that you really care about. The killer in this movie does wear a Freddy Krueger-like mask with a rubber hand glove with long fingernails, and he sticks them through women and kills them. All right.
Okay.
Now the movie starts off brilliant. It's like I started. This is the first time I saw it, and I'm like, Troll 2. This movie is so much better than Troll 2 will ever be. And then it continued. It continued for an hour and a half, and it's not better than Troll 2, but it has some really, really dumb dialogue, dumb characters. It gets very awkward and weird with the dynamic of the guy who's playing the cop, who's with the lead actress, who's like trying to make her remember who the night killer is, because she basically survives an attack from the night killer. And she can't remember his face or who it was. But if you've seen any movie in your entire life, you know who it is. When you watch this, you're like, oh, the guy who's going, yeah, I don't know, it's definitely not me. I don't know. It could be somebody else. That it's that one.
Amazing.
I'll give it this. It's enjoyable. It gets awkward and weird and kind of like rapey, but not
weird and rapey.
Yeah, but not like, it's very difficult to describe. It's just like, have you ever dealt with somebody that has like a real mental illness or like had really bad trauma and you feel weird talking with them? You dropped out. Yeah, okay. All right, so it's like that, except taking advantage of that person to get something out of them. Which is
also bad.
Which is bad, right. So it's kind of an awkward movie. Not like I'm sitting there taking a movie called Night Killer fucking seriously or anything, but it kind of tries to take itself seriously. And I'm like, movie, you're about a guy in a rubber mask who gets rapey with girls and sticks his rubber fingernailed hand through their chest and kill them. Don't take yourself too serious, but it does. It's like, no, this is a serious movie. So yeah, good job, Claudia. I still enjoyed it. It's fun. At times, I would say it starts off brilliantly first 20 minutes, and then like the last 15 are good. The in between stuff, it's just like, all right, let's get to it. Anyway. So You.
I watched another movie on Shudder.
Uh-huh.
The movie I watched is called Knife Plus Heart. And this movie, in case you haven't heard about it, it is in the queer horror section. Queer horror section, not queer horror. But it does involve kind of queer horroring about. It is... now, it looks like a movie that came out in 1980, but it literally came out this year. It was filmed on 35 millimeter, and it looks fucking awesome. It is about gay porn, softcore porn people, porn stars, and in France, where in the late 70s they took their gay porn super seriously and treated it like art, is what this movie has taught me. And then some of the gay porn guys start to get killed one by one, and it's an homage to giallo movies with, like a killer with black gloves and a knife. And I don't know. I feel like it's more of a you movie than a me movie, but it's definitely something that I really enjoyed in terms of, like, I really enjoy a movie when there's more style than substance in general, and I like the style. And I really liked the style of the movie. It was super cool.
Which is why
that was
you
a
should
fucking
watch
movie.
More Giallo.
I don't know.
But I know you don't like
Seems like
them
everything
because
that you show me is just like
you get bored with them. Yeah. Everything I show you.
Sometimes
You've seen like 2.
I know. I know. I've seen maybe 3, but I forget the third one.
You might enjoy.
Was it Knife Plus Heart?
Yeah, I think that's it. You might enjoy. Well, you saw the editor, but the editor is not a. It's not a Giallo.
No, I didn't see the editor.
You didn't? Okay. Well, you wouldn't. See, that's the problem with I love the editor. I love Astro 6, as you know. But the problem with it is that there are so many in-jokes watching that if you don't know it, then you're going to be like, I don't get it. But it's okay.
Right. Well,
I think you would probably like Case of Bloody Iris or Deep Red to dip your little patties into.
we'll do those on the show someday.
Maybe.
And I'll go, no, I didn't like this.
Yeah, I know.
I don't even understand it. But Knife Plus Heart was like, it took itself very seriously in a good way. And then at times it was not that serious, and it was kind of light and weird. But it is a movie like really unlike anything else you've ever seen, even though it's supposed to be an homage to movies that have happened before. It just felt interesting and different. The movie, and this is going to sound absolutely weird, but the movie it most reminded me of is Disco Exorcist, because that movie is also filmed very much like this movie, where it looks like it's 1980 in the movie, and it's about porn stars dying. So it's a completely different movie from Disco Exorcist, and I'm sure that probably like 2 people listening, and Jack and myself, are the only people who have seen Disco Exorcist, and that's fine. You don't have to seek it out. It's a movie I really enjoy, but I wouldn't recommend to almost anyone, because I can't even imagine embarrassing myself by recommending it and then people just going, what the fuck is wrong with Nick? But that's what it's like.
I enjoyed it.
I think you'll like Knife Plus Heart, probably more than I did. So I'm going to suggest it to you. Other people, if you like what I said,
I've been waiting to see it, and I can't wait to see it. But it's one of those things that I have to wait for a girlfriend and I to have a moment to sit down and watch something, and that's what it's. You know, that's what happens when you work 2 different shifts, and then
Oh, I know.
You know how it is. It's like, oh, I just got done work.
So tell me about something else you've seen.
I'm going to talk about my girlfriend and I's relationship and movie watching. No, okay. Okay, so I'm going to play catch up for real. I saw Us. The movie Us.
Yeah, you caught up to me on this one.
I caught up to you, yes. I finally got to watch that. Yeah. And that was one of those moments where I was like, hey, you and I have time to watch this, girlfriend. And she goes, yes, we do. We put it up on the movie theater, and we watched it. And now you enjoyed it, right? You didn't.
I very much
love
liked it. Very much.
But you're close to loving it. You're like, I really, really enjoyed it.
I would give it like an A instead of an A+.
Okay. I could say that. I could see giving it an A as well. But I did kind of love it a lot. Like, I might actually would say an A+. Because, I avoided spoilers and everything I could about it. Because it's so good. I don't understand people not liking it. I think people just give backlash to whoever's the hip dude at the time. Jordan Peele had Get Out, and everybody's like, that's what they sound like when they complain about it. It's in my head. That's what I hear when people complain about movies like that. Which I thought Get Out was fucking great too. I actually, this might sound weird to some, but I like Us more than Get Out. If I had to compare the two totally different movies. I get it. Two totally different movies. But the thing I liked about Us is that it is just fucking crazy, weird, and it's so much fun. Like, it doesn't stop.
Go ahead. Yeah, and I personally enjoy Get Out way more. But at the same time, what both these movies do is they take something that and just give you something that you've never seen before. I think that's what we said in the Get Out review and in the Us review, which we did. We did do an episode with Us a couple of episodes back, so you can go back and hear my full thoughts on it. But
I think that's the last episode we did.
What I maybe no. One of the things I really enjoyed about Us is just like, you can't go into that movie and even possibly tell me that you had an inkling of an idea what was going to happen in that movie. It is so far outside the realm. Even if you watch the trailers, you can't. They don't tell you everything that happens in the movie, and everything that happens in it is shit that you have never seen before. Like, I'm so sick of people, and I said this. I think I said this during Get Out or Us's review. I was like, dude, I'm sick of seeing people try make the slasher from the 80s, sick of seeing people try to make the new James Wan style movie. Like, stop making the same movie over and over again and just go completely outside the realm of what I've ever met before and give me that instead. And then I love it. Like, what am I talking about here that I loved? Knife Plus Heart, really enjoyed it because it was totally different. The other one that you just said, that we're talking about, Us, I totally enjoyed compared to other horror movies I've seen in the past, like, 6 months to a year, I'm totally happy with it, but I'm glad you liked it so much. I'm glad you liked it at all. I mean, but yes, to enjoy it more than me, that's something. So that's good. And I mean, it's just, dude, it's just good. And like, I'm glad Jordan Peele is making horror movies and like going to keep doing it for a bit and doing horror stuff, even The Twilight Zone, which I can't watch because it's on CBS's pay streaming service or whatever.
So many goddamn apps.
Yeah, I can't. No, I cannot justify getting any more streaming services except for maybe Disney Plus when that comes out, depending. And it's only because I have a child who could then watch all the Disney movies. I can't, like, it's just streaming services, man. We've talked about it before in this show, but there's a lot of them. Anyway. Yeah, so Us, is there anything else you want to say about that? Like, what, I mean, like, all right, like, I know you liked Tim Heidecker in that movie, right?
Dude, I don't want to spoil it.
Dude?
Yeah, I know, I don't want to spoil it, but I'll just say when his hair slicked back, he was fucking great. He was good.
Dude, I watched that, and when it was like that, I was like, Jack's gonna like that so much.
I did. I was like, holy shit. Yeah. Like, that's what I want to see more of. Like, I am so fucking... One thing I don't think I've mentioned this on the show. I am so sick of everybody doing improv and comedy and just like, ugh. It's like every time you turn around, there are so many improv comedians and comedy shows and comedy this, comedy that, and everybody's like, oh my god, this guy's the funniest motherfucker in the world. Oh my god, this one's the funniest person in the world. And every time you watch it, you're like, I don't get it. Well, that's just not made for you. Okay, it's not made for me. It's like Napoleon Dynamite, go eat a dick. I know it's not comedy, whatever, but okay. When it comes to Tim and Eric, I enjoy it. I think it's funny as shit. I get it. I understand people not getting it. But when it comes to those actors doing movies, it's like they just forcibly, like, there are so many comedians that all know each other, kind of like horror, where they're like, I know you, you're on the comedy circuit, you're on the comedy circuit, I'm going to fucking push you into this movie. Kind of like what Jordan Peele did with this dude, in a sense, because, you know, they're both in comedy. He puts them in this movie, and then, you know, they do there's a whole entire, like, I think it's like 7 minutes of improv of them on the beach talking about stuff. It's on the disc. And I'm like, oh my god. Like, oh, this is so fucking torturous. Because it's like, you know, where I found this, I'm sorry to go on this little rant here, but remember Superbad? The movie Superbad.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. That is a prime example of what I'm talking about, where they're like, and it's all the Judd Apatow shit, where it's like, okay, let's point a camera and say whatever the fuck you want. And say whatever the fuck you want. You guys are funny. Say whatever you want. Say whatever you want. We'll edit it in post. We'll just put it in post. And you could tell that they improv for like 30 minutes and cobble together that 1 minute dialogue scene. And it's like, for me, it kind of annoys me. Like, I like it when it's funny, but, you know, there's just too much of that shit for me. I'm not... Whatever.
Right. But, I mean, it works sometimes, certainly, dude.
Right.
Like,
oh, it does. No, I
Ron Burgundy was made that way. And, like, the outtakes from Ron Burgundy are sometimes funnier than the fucking movie. Just the stupid lines that they were randomly saying.
Understandable. And I myself am, you know, a hypocrite because I did a lot of that in my own film. I did. And, you know, I learned from my mistakes. But the thing is that when it comes to people like, you know, not, I don't want to say forcing, but when I found out that he was in it, I'm like, really? Okay. He's going to be the comic relief. And I'm like, oh, yep. He's the comic relief. Here it is. Here comes the forced comedy shit. All right. And then it ends. I'm like, okay, good. And then later on, I'm like, oh my god, this guy can act. He can be this. He can do this. This is great. This is what I want to see. It's like fucking, all right, look, like Dennis Leary. Dennis Leary, funny, loudmouth. He just goes on rants, kind of like what I'm doing right now. But when he acts, Dennis Leary can act. He can act, like, really well. So I was impressed with him. Sorry about the long-ass rant, but I'll go on a comedy thing sometime.
That's okay.
But I actually said that to, there was somebody on our previous podcast. We were on a vacation together in California, and he was talking about this comedian, that comedian's hysterical, and that one's it. I'm like, dude, I can't keep up. Every time I turn around, there's a new master of comedy every week. And it's like, oh, he's funny. Okay, and I watch the comedy special, and I giggle twice, and I'm like, never again. Never again. I'm not falling for this shit. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, I'll shut the fuck up.
And stand most comedy shit, but that's just me, dude. So maybe when we just get old, like at some age, you're just like, oh wait, nothing's funny. Life's terrible.
No, but
can't laugh. Nothing tickles my funny.
Everybody is trying. God damn, I don't want to go into this. God damn it. I'm just saying that years ago, there weren't that many comedians. There were a lot, but there weren't that many that actually made it. Okay? Nowadays, you go on Netflix, there's like 100 fucking 1 hour comedy specials. Like, really? And then you turn around and there's more. Same with fucking music. How many people do you know in a band? Filmmakers. How many filmmakers do you know? You know, how many fucking actors do you know?
How many podcasters?
How many podcast assholes like us are there? How many people just talk about movies that other people do are there? There are tons of us fucking assholes doing the same shit. It's all the same shit. And guess who's fucking beating us? Other countries. Fucking labor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired. God damn it. All right.
Tired is right.
I am. It's just like we're all fucking doing this. We're all like, we're going to be a comedian. I'll follow my dreams. I'll follow my dreams. I'll follow my... It's like, motherfucker, you got to work hard. And people don't work hard. There are people that don't work hard that get rewarded for being something because there are something for about a year. And then they're forgotten about. Or they get, they jerk off in front of people. Get fucking... it's...
There's
whatever.
money in that. There's money in that.
There is money in that. But there's also losing your fucking career in that, too. All right. So, Nick.
Yes, you saw us. And that...
I fucking loved it.
Made you tired.
It did, dude. No, I fucking
movie.
loved everything about it. Everything. I loved the ending. I loved the fucking shots. I loved the music. The music choices are fucking brilliant. The score is great. Everything about it. It's absolutely beautiful.
Understandable.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be, unless we have an excellent year, dude, it's going to be on both of our top 5 lists at the end of the year.
I would say it's definitely going to be on mine. Probably, definitely.
Yeah, probably in our top 2 on each of our lists.
Yes.
But anyway, a movie that probably won't be on either of our top 10 lists or 2 lists or 5 lists is the movie that I saw just the other night. I rented it on VOD. I didn't catch it in the theater. And thankfully, I did not pay $20 to see this in the theater. But, dude, the Pet Semetary remake was not so great. In my opinion, of course. I have to say in my opinion, because as you know, if you don't clarify that you're talking about your opinion, people think you're talking objectively about the movie and that then they come for you. But I don't want anybody to come for me. I'm just saying Pet Semetary, not that great. I think I enjoyed it probably the least of the 3 Pet Semetary movies, which is saying some shit because the second one is just not good. The third one, though, okay, it is... It's one of those remakes that we used to get like 10 or 15 years ago when Platinum Dunes was remaking everything, and they were like, just make it, like Texas Chainsaw and Friday the 13th and all those other ones, man, like where they would just remake a movie and they would literally remake the original movie by running down a checklist. Do we got the part where somebody gets hit by a truck? Do we got the part where they go to the pet cemetery with the old farmer neighbor? Do they got the part where, like just the whole thing? That's exactly what Pet Sematary is. The characters, the people, the acting in general, like nobody's better than in the original other than I would say Amy Semetz is a better actress than the original mom, and nobody else. Everybody else is just like, like there was just no reason. This is one of those remakes where there's just no reason. And, like, you could have come up with some cool ideas, I'm sure, to add into the movie. And instead, they don't do that. They just come up with a few dumb ideas and then add those in, And that's just the way it goes. And it's like an hour and 40 minutes of your life that you can spend on watching that movie. And maybe I will recommend you, if you're going to watch it in the fall, because it kind of felt like a fall Halloween time movie. Maybe you'll feel better about it if there are pumpkins around. You know what I mean? But there's really, like, they fast forward through the original movie, hitting every plot point, but without pausing for the reflection to add the emotional weight that the original did, and maybe it's because the original was directed by, like, a woman, and maybe she had a better sense of empathy than the directors of this, who it was made by the guys who made Starry Eyes, one of my favorite movies of the decade in this century. But, man, I couldn't be more nonplussed with the movie. Even John Lithgow was really boring in it. Like, there was no real – I didn't get any sort of, like – I kind of feel like – I don't feel like he was phoning it in, but I just feel like he's not the force of nature that Herman Munster is, playing the same role as Herman Munster in the original. He's not playing Herman Munster. I mean, Herman Munster was the guy playing the farmer in the original.
Fred Gwynn.
People know what I'm talking about. I don't have to explain it. All right, Fred Gwynn. Yes. So it was just his birthday yesterday, but he's dead. I hate it when people do that online. They're like, this guy would have been 105 years old today. And it's like, no, he wouldn't have. People don't live that long. Like, he would have been 10 years dead, which he is.
Oh, God. Yeah, every day we celebrate another anniversary or birthday of, like, everything. Like, this movie was released on this day and this year in this theater, and people are like, oh, my God! It's fucking, this is the best day ever. What? The movie was released this day. Oh my God, no way. Yeah, I love that movie.
Oh, man. The internet is hard. It is exhausting.
It is.
To just be online. But
really
Pet
is.
Semetary was exhausting to sit through. So I'm trying to think of, like, anything in the movie. And I think that the only thing that I would have done in Pet Semetary that could have made it a better movie and updated it maybe appropriately for our times is if they had made – this is one of those movies where a gender swap actually would have worked. If instead of the main character being the dad, the main character was the mom, like if you're going to remake a movie, do something different with it and fun, except keep the spirit of the original. So make the mom not be able to let go of her babies, you know, and like you could have that whole different dynamic. But instead, they don't do that. They just make exactly the same movie as the first one, changing only two things in the whole movie can I think of that they change. And, like, one of them's a bit of a spoiler, and then the other one is also a spoiler. But they're both changed for the dumber, and I'm not going to explain how. For the much dumber in the second case, which is the ending. The ending is changed and dumber. Dumber. Like, you'll watch this movie and you'll be like, that's it at the end. So if you want to say that's it at the end of a movie, watch Pet Semetary. I'm trying to think of, like, anything else that they could have done with this movie. And it's just like, you remember, like, Suspiria when we watched that at the beginning of the year? And it's like Suspiria is one of those remakes. And a lot of modern remakes do this sort of thing. Like Evil Dead, and many other remakes that we've watched over the past couple of years, like more recently, they take the movie that is the original and they remake it in a modern way that keeps the spirit of the original and makes it also a good movie. Even the new Child's Play is supposed to be like that, although I have not seen that yet. I will soon. It's just adds something. Like Suspiria, when they remade it, still felt kind of like Suspiria, and it dealt with a similar series of events to the original, but it changed things up enough that it's a whole different movie, right? Mm-hmm. And I would much rather watch a remake like that than another one of these. We're going to check all the boxes and hit everything and say we remade the movie. Okay, let's go, you know. Mm-hmm. So that's where I am on Pet Semetary.
I have not seen it yet. I will say I did purchase it because I got a good price on it. So I'm like, well. Speaking of something I purchased, I'm going to go through two really fast. How many movies you got left?
Exactly one.
Oh, okay.
And I don't want to talk about it that much.
All right. Well, I'll go through this really fast. The Prodigy, not the band.
Oh, right. This is the movie where, like, the boy,
little Georgie,
of a family is smart, but also a serial killer.
Yes.
I don't know if I just made that up.
Yes. No, it's I don't want to spoil it, but it's kind of not spoiling it. The movie starts with a serial killer who basically, you're speaking of Child's Play, he does something to transport his spirit into somebody. Like a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
you're totally spoiling this
no,
movie.
No,
I would never have guessed that that's what this movie was about.
That's the opening of the movie. That's how it opens.
Oh, okay.
So
if something happens in the opening scene of a movie, it's not a spoiler.
It's not a spoiler. No, it's like you see what happens. Like, there's a girl that's like being held captive by this serial killer, and you're like, okay, why the fuck am I watching this serial killer? And then all of a sudden this kid comes in and you're like, wait a minute. Oh, okay. The kid is like reincarnation serial killer. Okay. That's basically the plot. However, the movie's fucking great. I enjoyed every single beat of it, including the end of it, which I don't want to say I saw coming because I was in for the ride. It's a very downbeat movie and depressing in a sense, but also comical, but not funny. But it's weird. It's a weird movie, and I really enjoyed it. The kid is great. The kid is Georgie from It, the one that gets taken down the sewer. He's really good. I don't want to spoil it. It's good. And I also got The Escape Room, which was a PG-13 movie that feels like it's like R. I was really...
Right, and I've heard that that's better than expected. Is that true?
It is, yeah. It's kind of like what Saw should have been. The Jigsaw movie. If that makes sense.
The Jigsaw movie, okay.
Yeah, remember the Jigsaw movie?
Yeah, I have vague memories of the Jigsaw movie that I wish was better.
Yeah, it's kind of like how that one was good, but it could have been so much better. This one here is good, it's enjoyable, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it has a weird thing that's happening in it. And it's kind of violent for a PG-13 movie, so it's decent. It's good. It's a good watch. It's like a good Netflix day watch, I would say. So, I enjoyed it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like Cube.
No, I mean, I'd probably catch up with it at some point in the future. I don't know when, because I feel like I'm so behind on movies these days. I keep waiting for things to hit VOD because Netflix has been a little bit slow lately, and Shudder doesn't pump movies out a whole lot, so I watch a lot of things when they get to VOD instead. But now there's more and more things piling up that I'm waiting to see on VOD or another service or two. I mean, again, with the streaming shit, I've got Amazon Prime, Hulu, Netflix, Shudder. I'm trying to keep up. It's hard. It's hard to keep up, and I think that we're going to all reach a point where, you just can't see it all anymore. God damn it. And we used to watch, literally, me and you, for, at our prime height of podcasting days, we would watch about 80 movies a year for the show, and then whatever else we watched for fun. So, probably easily 100 to 120 movies a year, right? Mm-hmm. Each.
That's a lot.
There was a lot of overlap.
That's a lot of
there's
life.
A lot of overlap, but it's all right. I don't think I could ever put myself on a schedule to do that sort of thing again. And it just means some shit is just going to go right on by, man.
Do you ever think to yourself? I thought about this the other day. What is it? Speaking of Tarantino, which we haven't, he did a podcast, the Pure Cinema podcast, which is like a podcast with his New Beverly Theater, and they talk about the movies that they're playing, and he basically picks every single movie that plays there, and he was on their show for 3.5 hours discussing the entire month of July, which leads up to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I'm listening to him just go on and on about all these movies, and I'm like, Jesus, all right, checklist. These are all the movies I got to see now. Thanks a lot, Tarantino, you dick. And then I'm like, what happens if he dies? And I thought about it with Roger Ebert when he died. I'm like, that guy spent so much time watching all these movies, and now he's dead. And it's like, you just press reset. All that time spent watching all those movies, and now it's over.
That's what life is, man.
Yeah, it's like, I get it. I'm not dogging it. Trust me, I have tons of movies here, okay?
Dogging death?
No, I'm not dogging watching movies. I'm like, it's just crazy to think about that. For, when you put it in that context, too, you're like, this is a lot of fucking time I'm wasting. I discussed this with video games with you before. And And after a while, I'm like, wow, maybe I should get out of the house. Go enjoy a sunset or some shit. You know? Maybe I should do that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, if you think back...
I don't know.
A lot of times, if you think back in life, right? What do you remember? You remember getting out of the house and doing something. You see a movie and you're like, oh, it's a movie. But like, oh yeah, I saw that. That was good. Yeah, it was enjoyable.
Right.
But it's like, hey, remember that time when I went to Florida and I went to Disney World and I saw a smile on my girlfriend's face or my kid's face for the first time and he or she was enjoying? That's what fucking matters, really. I mean, no shit, Jack.
Yeah.
Okay. But, here we are talking about movies in a goddamn computer room. With a dog on my lap.
Right, we've literally We've literally spent thousands of hours of our lives just talking about stupid horror movies.
Stupid shit.
We're like, oh god, it was so stupid.
People that want to be in
thousands
charge.
of listeners. Like, I wish we could add up all the thousands of hours people have spent listening to us somehow and just be like, 1 million hours spent on this bullshit.
This bullshit. But it's funny, though. It's fun. I mean, we enjoyed ourselves. We're not complaining. But, man, it's a lot of time.
No, but it's life. It's like weirdness of life that you can't even explain it, Yeah. It's a fragile, nonsensical bullshit ride. And that could easily segue to the next movie that I'm going to talk about if you'd like.
Please do so, yes.
Okay, so that is also somewhat of the premise of the movie Midsummer, which I just saw last night. And I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to give my full feelings on it because I want you to see it so we can do a real episode on Midsummer. Up until I saw Midsummer, especially after Pet Semetary, I was talking to some friends of mine the other day, and I was like, man, I just feel so jaded with movies lately. Like, nothing's really connecting with me. And I wondered, is it – and I meant specifically horror movies because I've seen mainstream movies that I've actually liked for a change, like Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man was pretty good, and John Wick 3 was really good. But I'm watching these horror movies, and I'm just like, nothing's really making me excited or – making me think about it after I see it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw Midsummer, and it's been like I was reinvigorated. Just like I feel like a video game character that I ate the turkey that I found on the side of the road and like completely refilled my health bar. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel after seeing Midsummer. I was just like, wow, movies could still be something that surprise and excite me and make me think about things and wonder. And, I really, really liked Midsummer. And it's a completely unpredictable, ridiculous, at times gory, at times unsettling, just fun ride of a movie. And it's a huge horror movie. And I mean, like we talked about Hereditary on this show, and we both kind of were like a little let down by it. And Midsummer, I had like sort of mid-range expectations, and it far exceeded them. We will talk about that more in depth on a future episode, but if you could see Midsummer, I highly recommend it. I saw it. Get this. The AMC by me, the AMC Theater, only playing it 2 times this week. 2 showings, not 2 times a day. It played Tuesday at 11 o'clock at night and then Wednesday at 9 o'clock, and it's not playing again. So if you can get there and see it, get there and see it before it just vanishes and shows up on VOD.
That's
or
weird.
Just watch it on VOD and try to have the same experience from it. But it was really something to see in the theater, and I totally was happy with it, enjoyed it, loved it, thought it was – I think it's fucking wonderful. And I haven't felt this good about seeing a horror movie since I saw Mandy last year, and I watched Mandy like again and again and again. And I think that Midsummer, it's not as good as Mandy, but like what horror movies are as good as Mandy? Like a handful. So, well, according to most people, that movie's trash. But fuck those people. Midsummer, maybe Midsummer's not a movie for everybody, but if you like crazy, weird occult horror movies with lots of gory bits and unsettling things and weird stuff that feel completely plausible and could be happening in this world for all we know, go watch it.
So guess what I'm going to leave us with?
What's that?
The giant spider invasion.
Is this a 1950s movie?
1975.
1975.
Yeah, there's a reason I'm bringing this up, too. I just watched this for the first time the other day.
I can't wait.
I just watched this for the first time the other day. And this happens to me a lot. And it happens to some of our listeners that may purchase a lot of movies. Like, what happens is I'll watch a movie and I'm like, oh my God, I'm really enjoying this. What else has this person done? And then I look it up and I'm like, oh, let me see if that's available. Oh, it's $5.99.
Yeah.
Oh, it's $10. Oh, cool. I'll get that. And I get it and I put it on the watch pile shelf, and I'm like, all right. And I'm always passing it. Like, do I feel like watching a giant spider invasion? No. I saw Kingdom of Spiders, and I'm like, nah. I'll watch this instead. And then I watched the other thing, and I'm like, it's kind of let down. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I put it on, and it has Alan Hale Jr. in it, who plays the sheriff. And if you know Gilligan's Island, you know Alan Hale Jr. And I'm like, huh. Okay. Then all of a sudden, there's like this weird shit happening with the spiders and just like this weird dynamic with the characters. And I'm like, who made this fucking movie? And then it hit me like a ton of bricks. So, you know that I'm a fan of Blood Harvest, right?
Yeah.
The guy that made Blood Harvest made this movie. He also made, what was it? The Demons of Ludlow, which I also like. The Capture of Bigfoot, The Alpha Incident, and Invasion from Inner Earth. And I'm like, this fucking dude makes some junky movies, and I love him for it.
Oh, they don't sound good.
No, they're not. They're not. But, Blood Harvest is like a trashy. It's the perfect trash movie for you to, like, if you're into trashy movies and just like full frontal nudity and slasher, Blood Harvest is your movie. Dude, the spider, the giant spider, guess what it is?
Yeah, I was going to ask, what does it look like?
So, it's a giant spider that's on a car that's driving towards people.
Oh, I've totally seen that movie on MST3K.
Yeah, it was on MST3K. Yeah. And it has like...
I remember that one because it was like... it's got... doesn't it have the skipper in it?
Yes, that's right.
From Gilligan's Island?
Alan Hale Jr., yep.
Dude, I've totally seen that fucking movie. I love it when we have a moment where we name something totally obscure, and I'm like, oh, I've totally seen that fucking movie. And it was really funny on... that is honestly my... At the time, back in the 90s, that was my favorite MST3K episode. And every time that they would show a crowd running away from the spider, they'd go, yay, Packers won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because it's from Wisconsin. Yeah. Dude, the movie itself, I've never seen the whole movie. And just never seen the movie. I loved it. It's trash. And the best part, here's the best part. And this is one thing I want to mention. Not knocking Midsummer. It's an hour and 24 minutes. You're like in, out, over, done. That is perfect. Perfect kind of. That's the horror I love. Like, I'll watch Midsummer, but like the 2.5 hour running time, I'm like, am I gonna watch it a lot? Oh,
exactly.
That's the thing.
It's exhausting,
Yeah.
and an hour and 20-minute movie, you could put two back to back and watch two,
right?
And be like, that was an awesome, fun time.
That's why I'm really excited about Crawl that's coming out. While we're doing this.
Dude, I am totally not. Excited about that.
You will be in a second. Do you know who directed it?
No, it won't be. Yes, I do, and I still don't care.
Do you also know that it's getting a shit ton of praise from people going, this movie's fucking gruesome and gory and awesome and fucking excellent? I'm telling you.
You see, Jack.
Yeah,
you forgot one thing, man.
What's that?
You forgot one thing about me.
You don't like gators.
I know that we're having an aquatic episode. We're having an aquatic episode next week.
What's that?
And this is a great time for me to tell you, I hate aquatic horror movies. I've definitely mentioned it before.
Right, but
with aquatic horror movies, I'm just like, all you got to do, stay away from the water, and you're fine.
But this one, they can't stay away from the water because it's flooded, and they don't get. It's like Sharknado. If it were good,
it's even stupider.
No,
it's even stupider because it's like all you've got to do is not stay when the hurricane's coming. The hurricane's coming. Don't be the idiot who stays behind.
Do you know how many people I know that lived in Florida that stayed when it was supposed to be really bad, and they were all acting like badasses, like it's no big deal? There are tons of people
That's what Floridians do.
Yep.
And if those people get eaten by giant gators, I feel nothing.
But it's Alexander Aja, dude.
I know it is. And he directed the other movie that I really enjoy, which, not spoiling anything, you can tune in next week and hear exactly that movie come out of my mouth.
Right. And you like it. It's aquatic. Do you like Jaws? You like Jaws 3? You fucking don't like aquatic horror, you liar.
No, I don't like
you like Jaws. You did like Jaws 3, you fucking lying sack.
No, I did not. I laughed my ass off at the end.
It's so great. You know you love it.
Like, they're all like happy and the dolphins are jumping out of the water. Laughed my ass off at it.
You loved it.
Oh.
You loved it.
I don't love it.
You do. You fucking liar.
I don't.
We're going to prove it. Everybody, we're going to prove Nick wrong. Next week when you all say...
See, and it's kind of funny, too. I don't know. Like, it's funny, too, because in real life, I'm totally afraid of going in the water. I won't go in. Like, I once went into the ocean, and I was up to my hip in the water, and then, like a fish swam past me, and I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of this water. I am done. And I left.
Pussy.
That was it. Like, dude, yeah, I am. But you know what? The pussy don't get eaten by sharks and gators and shit. He watches the other people get eaten.
Sharks. Okay. I'm done with this conversation. I really want to see Crawl. I can't wait to see Crawl. Dude, Crawl is going to be so much fun. It's going to be the sleeper hit of the summer. Mark my fucking words. It's going to be.
Okay, we'll see if that's untrue.
No, it is. It's going to be a bigger hit than the Child's Play remake. Any horror movie that comes Midsummer, it's going to make more money than Midsummer. Fucking guarantee it.
Probably, because Midsummer is playing on the screens
two times. Yeah. No, Crawl is going to be it's not going to be a tremendous hit. It's going to be a moderate hit. Say at least maybe.
I would expect it to be.
What's your prediction?
My prediction: 89 million. Not opening weekend, but total. If it on the high end, on the low end, it could be 30 million if it somehow goes under the radar. But it has had a lot of marketing, and it's right in the middle of the summer when people like that sort of movie. Yep. So it might do. Yeah, it's going to go probably under 100, but I will say if it's a hit, like 89 million.
The only problem I have
the high end.
With movies like Crawl is if it is a hit, they're going to make a sequel, but it ain't going to come out in the theater. It's going to come out straight to DVD, and it's going to be shit.
Or Netflix or Amazon. Yeah. It's like Don't Breathe. Whatever happened to Don't Breathe 2? Probably came out and we don't even know.
I wasn't that big a fan of Don't Breathe. honestly.
I thought it was okay, but I thought it was pretty overrated.
Yeah. And another thing, characters you just can't identify with and not like.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, we're going to break into this blind dude's house. We're awesome. Yeah, okay. No, you're not. You're fucking assholes. What are they? Is the audience supposed to? Yeah. You're assholes. Ranger, assholes. Mm-hmm. Dude, you know what's really sad about
Carl? I remember talking about that. What's that?
You want to feel old? Guess who plays the dad?
Oh, God.
Guess who plays the dad? Barry Pepper. Remember Barry Pepper?
Barry Pepper?
Yeah, Barry Pepper. He was in Battlefield Earth, and he was in Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's the dad. He's the fucking dad to that 20-something-year-old girl. Mm. We're old. You're getting old, Nick.
Yep.
And you're going to be like...
Get old, life passed you by.
You're going to be like, Jack, you want to feel old? What? My kid's getting his driver's license next week. They'll say, I hate you. All right. So now that we're old and bitter and done bitching about stuff and liking stuff, tune in really, really soon where Nick and I are going to talk about his favorite genre, aquatic horror.
My favorite.
It is. You're gonna...
Mm-hmm.
You know it.
Sure.
You know it. You do.
So,
you like Jaws.
I guess that's it. Yeah, please tell us on Facebook, Twitter, etc. what you think of our stuff, man.
Tell Nick that he's wrong when you pick your favorite aquatic horror movie. And that's all I got. Nick, I'm tired.
Yeah, it's exhausting, dude.
It is. This is like...
It's exhausting.
I feel like I just ran a marathon.
Real life. It's difficult. It's difficult. 5-star difficulty level no matter what you do.
I feel like I swam in the ocean with you.
Maybe next week we shall. Or next month, whenever it is we actually get around to recording,
We're going to record next week. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a special episode. People are going to like it. That's all I'm going to say. We have an idea. It's going to be different than their previous episodes. It's going to be the same, but it's going to be different. Mm-hmm. You'll understand when it all happens. Nick, thanks for coming in today.
Jack. Yeah, this was good.
We're almost at an hour. It's almost an hour. Oh wait, of this segment. So it's going to be a little bit over an hour. Okay, we're fine. All right. Mm-hmm. You can follow Nick at New Jersey Nick. You can follow me at Jacob K999 now, not 666, because I'm gonna probably change it again. I don't like that. I don't like those numbers. I'm gonna change it and throw everybody off, and they're gonna be like, "Who's this fucking asshole?" Same asshole.
743.
743. All right, man.
Who's this guy?
Good night, fuckface. I was talking to my dog. Man. Yeah. Oh, good night, Nick.
Yeah, no, that's why I said man. Human. Right. Good night, dog.
All right. I'll see you, man.